The many experts from the Yao clan in the sky suddenly emitted an extremely bright luster from within their bodies. The Doqi within their bodies had become extremely wild and violent at this moment. They actually intends to self-destruct. Hun Huzi's expression changed slightly upon seeing this. If this many experts were to self-destruct, even this sealed realm might be torn open. However, the nihility-devouring flame had already turned into countless of tunneling at this moment and was unable to stop them. Humph! It is not so easy to escape under the eyes of our Hun clan. Hun Huzi's eyes became gloomy. He rapidly took out a scroll with a rising black flame from his storage ring, after which he suddenly tore it apart. Black flames surged and directly formed a flame tunnel. Many figures rushed out from within it and appeared in the sky of this chaotic place. Ha ha! It is unexpected that you have actually ended up in such a state in this meeting of ours. Waves after waves of vast and mighty dark, chilly auras spread over the sky after the many black figures came out from the tunnel. Such a might caused the hearts of everyone in this already dangerous state to sink. Had the Hun clan's experts finally showed themselves? The activity in the sky was also detected by Yao Dan. He suddenly lifted his head and gathered towards the leader of the many black figures. There were two elders standing at that spot. At this moment, the two of them were smilingly looking at him. Their smiles were filled with an iciness. Hun Yin, two of the four demon saints of the Hun clan, has actually appeared together. Your Hun clan really thinks highly of my Yao clan. The elder leading the group laughed faintly upon hearing the low and vicious voice of Yao Dan. He said, Yao Dan, the alchemist skills of your Yao clan does still have some use for our Hun clan. If you agree to the Yao clan being an affiliated clan of my Hun clan, you might still be able to preserve some bloodline. Even if my Yao clan was to sacrifice our last drop of blood, we will definitely not live in a humiliating manner under your Hun clan. Yao Dan spoke in a dense voice. Being a member of the Yao clan, they possessed their own pride. No one would agree with that whatever affiliation. In that case, we can only kill all of you. The elder was unsurprised at Yao Dan's words. He grinned slightly and waved his hand. He spoke in a soft voice, do not leave any survivors. Understood. The many experts from the Hun clan behind immediately revealed a ferocity in their eyes upon hearing this. They let out a savage laughter. Immediately, majestic Doqi erupted and rushed downwards from all directions. Explode! Seeing the experts from the Hun clan attacking, the light on the body of an elder of the Yao clan suddenly became extremely bright. Immediately, an extremely wild and violent energy wildly exploded in the sky. Some of the experts from the Hun clan, who had been struck, immediately spat out blood and pulled back rapidly.
Bang! Bang!
Bang! After the first expert from the Yao clan self-destructed, it seemed to have suddenly lit the blood of the many members of the Yao clan. Immediately, light surged within the bodies of many. Finally, they shot through the sky like falling stars and self-destructed at the same spot simultaneously. Boom boom! A frightening extermination storm had flattened this entire mountain range in an instant. Tens of thousands of feet, large deep streams crack lines began to spread like a spiderweb. In the face of such a frightening self-destruct attack, the realm, which had originally been completely sealed, had actually once again become distorted. There were some tiny cracks vaguely appearing. Continue. Yao Dan's eyes revealed a joyous expression after seeing that the space had finally been altered slightly. However, an endless sadness was hid under this joy. Who would have expected that this Yao clan, which had been completely peaceful a day ago, would actually end up with tens of millions of descendant citizens being killed and many clan members being dead or seriously injured? The danger of the clan being exterminated still covered over them. At this moment, the only thing that they could do was for their clan members to self-destruct and enable the bloodline to continue. After hearing the stern cry, many experts from the Yao clan continued to unhesitatingly self-destruct. Humph! Hun Jing in the sky let out a cold snort. He waved his sleeve. Monstrous black aura surged out with lightning-like speed. It immediately turned into a large hand that threw those members of the Yao clan who wanted to self-destruct at a certain spot far away. In this way, those Yao clan's experts, which had exploded in the other areas, had sacrificed themselves to no avail. Wanhua! Yao Dan cried out explosively after seeing Hun Jing intervening. Elder Wanhua, who was covered in blood a short distance away, had directly shot upwards after hearing Yao Dan's cry. A couple of extremely powerful elders from the Yao clan also followed. The do-chi within their bodies had boiled completely at this moment. Their auras suddenly soared as their do-chi boil. This would be their final battle, a battle to protect the members of their clan. I can stop them alone. Hun Huzi laughed coldly after seeing Elder Wanhua and the rest use a secret technique to cause boil their do-chi and cause their aura to soar. His body moved and appeared in front of Elder Wanhua. He waved his hand and black flames surged. Just his strength alone was sufficient to drag Elder Wanhua and the others into a battle with him. Seeing that miserable and tragic battle, Xiao had also involuntarily tightened his fist. Was this the clan extermination war? The Xiao clan back then had likely also experienced this same scene. In order to ensure that their bloodline lived on, these people were willing to give up everything. They did not feel any regret even if they had to self-destruct. At this moment, the private grudge between all of them had already vanished. Those clan members who once had some conflict with each other were willing to self-destruct in order to protect the other.
Dem Hun Clan.
The scarlet color within Yao Dan's eyes became even more intense after seeing that even Elder Wanhua's group had been held back. His eyes swiftly swept around the place and finally paused in the direction of Xiao Yin a short distance away. His body immediately moved and appeared in front of the latter. With a wave of his hand, over a dozen members of the Yao clan appeared beside Xiao Yin. These people were a little familiar to Xiao Yin. This was because they were the group of young people who had obtained the best result on the medicinal ceremony. Xiao Yin, the experts from my Yao clan will self-destruct to tear open the realm and provide you with a chance to escape. I have never begged anyone in my life, but this time around, I beg that you help me preserve some of the Yao clan's bloodline. Yao Dan's eyes were blood-red as they stared at Xiao Yin. His voice spoke in an anxious and hurried manner. A short distance from Xiao Yin was that old man Shenong, who had quite a good relationship with him. However, he did not choose the latter. This was because his instincts vaguely told him that only Xiao Yin had the ability to help him preserve the bloodline. Moreover, he did not have any other choice at this moment. In order to preserve a little of the clan's bloodline, he was willing to even self-destruct. This sudden unexpected occurrence caused Xiao Yin to be startled. He looked at the blood-red eyes of Yao Dan and felt his heart become stuffy. Regardless of what had happened, the latter was still a qualified clan head. Xiao Yin inhaled a deep breath of air. He glanced at Yao Lao. The latter's eyes were a little moist. However, he did not say anything. Clan head, allow me to stay. I will fight with these damn bastards. Bloody tears crossed Yao Tian's face. He had personally saw his father being killed by a couple of experts from the Hun Clan. At this moment, all he knew was that he should try his best to kill the members of the Hun Clan and take revenge for his father.
Slap.
A slap was violently swung onto Yao Tian's face after his words sounded. Yao Dan looked at Yao Tian ferociously. He roared like a wild beast. What can you useless individuals do by staying behind? Countless members of the clan has self-destructed to provide you with the opportunity to escape. How can you face them? Yao Tian held his half-swollen face. He bit his lips. Blood continued to seep out from the corner of his mouth. Yao Ling by his side, who was just like a goddess in the hearts of the younger members of the Yao clan, was also crying. After having experienced the unexpected occurrence today, they finally understood that they were just like a flower protected in a greenhouse by the clan. All of you will obey everything Xiao Yin says. In order to ensure that the bloodline of the Yao clan continues, you will have to die if you are asked to. Xiao Yin sighed softly. This is really a heavy burden that had inexplicably appeared. He was unable to even take care of the Xiao clan. Where would he find so much energy? However, he needed to rely on the strength of the Yao clan in order to tear open the sealed realm. Hence, he had no choice but to agree.
Clan head Yao Dan.
I will do my best. Old fellow, I will also do my best to help. Old man Shenong, who had flew over, softly sighed. Prepare yourselves. I will block Hun Jing and Hun Yin. The other elders of the Yao clan will help you tear open the space. Yao Dan rubbed off the blood on his face. His eyes swept over Yao Tian and the others. His expression was also extremely calm. Finally, he smiled and stomped onto the ground. His body shot out, and the dou qi within it completely boiled. Finally, he appeared like a brilliant falling star as he shot towards Hun Jing and Hun Yin in the sky. This lunatic. Hun Jing duo's faces became cold after seeing Yao Dan charging over with all his strength. Both of them attacked, and the color of the sky changed.
Bang! Bang! Bang!
After Hun Jing duo were engaged into a miserable big battle with Yao Dan, the many Yao clan elders in the sky once again rushed forward, after which they wildly exploded at the same spot. Boom, boom, boom. After the space trembled, that spot in the space began to become increasingly distorted. Traces of black flame symbols seeped out from within the space and finally exploded apart in the face of the wild and violent energy assault. Let's go. Pink flame quickly surged out from within Xiao Yan's body the moment the black flame symbols cracked. A fire barrier was formed, after which it locked Yao Tian, Yao Ling, and the dozen-over figures inside it. The Northern King behind protected Yao Lao. Their group's speed was unleashed until the limit as they hurried towards the space where the black flame symbol was torn with lightning-like speed.
Bang! Bang!
A thunder-like explosion continuously resounded within this realm. Following the appearance of each explosion, there would be an expert from the Yao clan exploding the dou qi within his body and blast himself into pieces. In the face of such a wild and violent energy attack, even one's soul would not remain. Xiao Yan's group unleashed their speed to their limit as they crazily rushed towards the area where the explosions were most centralized. The seal at that spot had already been blasted apart. It would no longer be difficult to tear open the space. Those experts from the various sects were also closely following behind Xiao Yin. They understood that it was impossible for them to successfully escape alive by relying on their own strength in such a chaotic period. However, the Hun clan's aim was to eliminate all the living creatures within the Yao clan. It was naturally impossible for them to simply allow Xiao Yin and the others to leave. While Xiao Yan's group traveled, the tooling creatures covering the entire area, as well as the experts from the Hun clan, had immediately changed their target. They rushed and surrounded Xiao Yan's group from all directions. Xiao Yan's expression turned cold after seeing the figures, which were rushing over from all directions. He was just about to attack when old man Shenong from behind threw the medicinal herbs, walking stick in his hand. Immediately, a green sea of flame spread rapidly. It emitted some swish sound as countless of towering trees appeared. Those huge trees with flames surrounding them were like vines that entwined around the figures, which were hurrying over. Xiao Yin sighed in relief as old man Shenong attacked. This caused the speed of Yao Tian's group to soar once again. Nihility, sir. Stop Xiao Yin. That brat also has a two-she ancient god jade in his hands. Hun Huzi, who was being entangled with Elder Wanhua and a few others, hurriedly cried out after seeing Xiao Yan's group charging across the sky and was becoming increasingly closer to that particular space. Humph, do you think that I can make many copies of myself? The nihility-devouring flame snorted coldly after hearing Hun Huzi's cry. His voice appeared to be filled with some displeasure. Hun Huzi was quiet after hearing this. He smiled in embarrassment. The nihility-devouring flame might be the most powerful person present, but he not only needed to split his attention to stabilize the spatial seal, but he had also suffered an injury from the soul fragment of Yao Di during the big battle earlier. Additionally, he had currently turned into countless of tunneling. Where would he find the strength to split his focus? Leave it to me. Hunjing, I'll leave this old ghost Yao Dan to you. Trying to block the both of us with just your strength alone is nothing but fantasy. One of the 4 demon saints of the Hun clan from a battlefield in the sky mockingly glanced at Yao Dan, who was in a somewhat crazy state, in front of him. His body flashed and an afterimage appeared, after which he escaped from the fight and directly rushed towards the spot where Xiao Yan's group was like an old eagle. Xiao Yan. Hee, this name is not unfamiliar to me. There has been many rumors about you within the Hun clan. If it is not because the clan is preparing our plan, I would have already come out and meet you. You are the only person in many years who had been able to cause my Hun clan to suffer losses time and time again. Hun Yin's speed was extremely terrifying. Within a couple of breaths' time, he had appeared in front of Xiao Yan's group and laughed coldly. Xiao Yan's expression sunk as he looked at another tiger appearing to block their path. The strength of this Hun Yin was extremely terrifying. Based on his senses, this fellow had likely reached the advanced 7-star Dosheng class. He was much stronger than even Yao Dan. Life Spirit Flame. Old Man Shinnong from behind also had a change in expression because of the appearance of Hun Yin. Soon after, he immediately attacked. The large sea of green flame gathered and turned into a huge fire beast with 4 limbs, after which it charged violently at the latter. Life Spirit Flame. Haha, I am also quite interested in it. After capturing you this time around, this Life Spirit Flame will belong to me. Hun Yin laughed faintly as he faced the sharp attack by that huge beast. His large hand was suddenly clenched. Monstrous Do Chi gathered and directly formed a huge palm, which slammed onto the large beast. A frightening force actually scattered the fire beast with a strike. The force was the wind did not diminish as it grabbed towards Xiao Yan's group. The combat strength of this Life Spirit Flame is indeed insufficient. Old Man Shun Nong involuntarily laughed bitterly after seeing that the attack by the Life Spirit Flame was useless. He looked at the huge palm that fell from the sky and hurriedly increased his speed. Swoosh! The speed of Xiao Yan's group soared as the huge palm grabbed at them. They narrowly dodged it. However, some of those behind them were unlucky. In the face of the huge claw, even the 1-star Peak Do Sheng experts present amongst them had collapsed under the palm and explode into a cluster of blood fog. Xiao Yin did not have the time to be bothered about the many miserable cries emitted from behind him. His eyes stared intently at Hun Yin in front of him. The position of this person was coincidentally where the spatial seal had been shattered. In other words, if they wanted to tear open a spatial crack, they must defeat this old fellow. However, trying to defeat a top expert who had reached the advanced 7-star Dosheng class posed quite a difficulty to the current Xiao Yan. Northern King. Xiao Yan's eyes flickered. He threw Yao Tian, whom he had held in his hand, towards Yao Lao. A thought immediately passed through his mind. That statue like Northern King, who had been following behind him, unhesitatingly turned into a ray of black light that charged forward. A wind containing a frightening strength directly covered Hun Yin. Huh? Is this a puppet? A surprise flashed across Hun Yan's eyes as he faced the unusually sharp attack from the Northern King. Even he had seldom seen such a powerful puppet which did not show any signs of being unfamiliar with combat. Its physical body might be strong, but a puppet is ultimately a puppet. Although Hun Yin was surprised, he did not withdraw even a little. Monstrous Doqi surged. He waved his hand, and the Doqi changed into 1,000 feet large Doqi hand, which easily received the Northern King's sharp attack. Occasionally wind churned as he struck his palm forward. The vast and mighty Doqi forced back the Northern King. Its incomparably hard body revealed some half-inch deep scars. Given the strength of the Northern King, it was a little too difficult for it to fight against an expert at the advanced 7-star Do Shang class. Little E. Xiao Yin cried out while the Northern King was stopping Hun Yin with all its strength. Little E quickly rose from Xiao Yan's body. Finally, it completely merged with Xiao Yan's soul. Purifying demonic lotus flame came erupted from Xiao Yan's body in all directions following the merger. His body had once again turned crystal clear. Even the bones and internal organs in his body had been covered by a pink crystal layer. Extermination Fire Body. Xiao Yin had unleashed his strongest attack of his the moment he began fighting. He understood that an ordinary attack was completely useless against such an expert. Extermination Fire Lotus. Xiao Yin suddenly clenched his hand after the fire body was formed. 6 different colored heavenly flame formed a spiraling shape in his palm, after which they mixed with each other. Within a short moment, it had formed a fire lotus with 5 different colored. An extermination-like aura spread the moment the fire lotus was formed. Go! Xiao Yan's arm shook the moment the fire lotus was formed. The extermination fire lotus was accompanied by a brilliant fire tail as it shot out with lightning speed. Finally, it exploded a short distance from Hun Yin.
Bang!
An earth-shaking energy explosion resounded over the place. A firestorm, which was filled with an exterminating force, raged wildly. Any tooling that was within 1,000 feet from the storm would be struck by the waves. Their bodies would immediately turn into black blood, which vaporized under the high temperature. Humph, you do have some ability. However, if this is your trump card, you should just obediently hand over the 2 Shi ancient Godjade in your hands. I can still allow you to die peacefully. The firestorm swept over the sky. However, that icy cold voice of Hun Yin continued to be slowly emitted from within the storm. Everyone could see a monstrous black vapor surging from the middle of the firestorm. It actually managed to block the raging firestorm. Hun Yin stepped on the empty air at the middle of the black vapor. He took a step forward at a time. His clothes fluttered in the absence of any wind while he wore a dark and dense expression. Xiao Yan's expression changed slightly after seeing the unhurt Hun Yin. This was the first time that he had used the Extermination Fire Lotus while unleashing the Extermination Fire Body. He did not expect that he was still unable to seriously damage Hun Yin in spite of this. The strength of an advanced 7-star Do Shang was indeed extremely terrifying. The aura of that old man is a little unsteady. It looks like that attack of yours from earlier has still managed to hurt him. However, it is still insufficient to seriously injure him. Old man Shenong spoke with a grave expression. Xiao Yin, we must escape as soon as possible. Otherwise, if those experts from the Yao Clan were to be completely exterminated, we will also have difficulty escaping this place. Yao Lao cried out in a deep voice. Xiao Yin nodded quietly. His eyes looked at Hun Yin, who was wearing a cold smile on his dense face. He suddenly exhaled and spoke in a deep voice. Elder Shenong, Yao Tian, lend me the heavenly flames within your body. Old man Shenong and Yao Tian were startled upon hearing this. However, they did not have time to ask questions at this moment. The former was open-minded. He waved his hand, and the medicinal ingredient walking stick in his hand landed in Xiao Yan's hands. Yao Tian hesitated for a moment before quickly spitting out a cluster of dark brown flame. The flame vaguely agglomerated into a turtle shape. This was naturally the Heavenly Flame ranked 13th on the Heavenly Flame ranking, the turtle spiritual earth flame. Xiao Yin held the walking stick with one hand and grabbed the turtle spiritual earth flame with the other. His crystal-clear body vaguely emitted a mysterious luster. Under this condition, both little E and him had been completely merged together. From a certain point of view, he was currently in possession of the constitution of a heavenly flame spirit. As long as their owners do not resist, he would be able to use the heavenly flames that he had never refined before. However, their strength would naturally be a little weaker as compared to those that he had refined. At this moment, however, there was no time for him to think of this. Xiao Yin alone possessed 6 types of heavenly flames. If these 2 types of heavenly flames were to be added, the fire lotus that was formed would be an unprecedented fire lotus formed by 8 types of heavenly flames. Its might would definitely be extremely terrifying.